Well, hello and welcome, ladies and gents. The backwards and forwards to me, to you, if you're English, or, from the UK, you will get that reference, continues on the set of Rust and the shooting and all of the lawsuits surrounding it. So, Alec Baldwin, a whole bunch of other producers, now want the lawsuit that was brought against him, civil suit, brought against him by the script supervisor, thrown out. So again, it's this kind of backwards and forwards. It's not a surprise. I'm not reporting on this as if wow, what a surprise. No, of course, they're not going to want this to go. Of course they're not. Why would they? So let's dive into that today. As always, I will be keeping you up to date on everything that happens on this case. And here we have. So Alec Baldwin and other Rust producers want the suit over fatal shooting tossed out. So let's take a look, shall we, ladies and gents? Oh, also, just a side note, before we do, hit subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy the video or appreciate the coverage. And follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at Mistaked Reviews. And check out my second channel in the description box. Anyway, so more than 2 months after the script supervisor on Rust filed a lawsuit against Alec Baldwin and other producers for the actor's fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the New Mexico set of the indie western, the defendants want a California judge to dismiss the action. And this is what they state anyway. And we'll sort of gather round together and see if we agree. Nothing about plaintiffs' allegations suggests any of the defendants, including Mr. Baldwin, intended the prop gun to be loaded with live ammunition. And that responded Baldwin, Rust Movie Productions LLC, Eldorado Pictures Inc., Ryan Donald Smith, Langley Allen Cheney, Thomasville Pictures LLC, Angel Nigam, Matthew Del Piano, and Cavalry Media Inc., who were erroneously sued as Cavalry Media Inc. It says the filing in response to Mami Mitchell's, sound like I'm Latin go, Mami Mitchell's November 17th, 2021 lawsuit. Moreover, nothing about plaintiffs' allegations suggests any of the defendants knew the prop gun contained live ammunition. The defendants' memorandum accompanying their demurrer Monday, basically, it's all there. But I think the thing is that it doesn't need to be. I can't remember the wording exactly. But I don't think you absolutely have to. It's not like a clear cut. Oh yeah, you knew or you intended. You can still be sued for negligence, right? You can still be sued for that, surely. I'm failing to understand where the argument is to get this thrown out. So the absence of such allegations, of course, makes sense because the incident is apparently unprecedented in the filmmaking industry. The document adds, apparently overlooking past film set. Yeah, that's not unprecedented at all. Overlooking past film set fatalities like Brandon Lee's shooting death on 1994's The Crow, because all three of plaintiffs' causes of action are based on allegations of negligence that resulted in a workplace accident. They should be dismissed because her exclusive remedy is New Mexico's Workers' Compensation Act, not a civil action filed in California state court. I mean, this is like the bare bones attempt to get this thrown out. It's similar in their approach. It's very much like a linguistic approach. Oh, this is the minutia details. So this is very, very similar to when 20th Century Fox Studios and Disney wanted the Thomas Brothers lawsuit to be thrown out as well. Because they were like, yeah, but you responded too late. You didn't file it properly. And it's just this sort of backwards and forwards case of pencil pushes just to try and filibustering almost, you're just messing around, just trying to prolong the situation. And it's very, very similar here. It's just wording. It's getting into the minutia, which I get, I understand. Again, this is not a surprise that they're doing this. I do find it surprising, saying that this is unprecedented. No, again, I mean, this again last happened. Someone was actually fatally shot with Brandon Lee on The Crow. So, continues further and says, as the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office continues its probe into what went terribly wrong on the Rust set on October 21st last year, Baldwin and his fellow producers, Pillsbury, Winthrop, Shaw, Pittman, LLP lawyers, are requesting a February 24th hearing before Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Michael E. Whitaker on the move to toss out Mitchell's case. Mitchell it might be added, is represented by Gloria Allred, which a lot of people, I wasn't aware of this, but a lot of people are like, she's like majorly, in it for the money, quite like renowned, someone I wasn't aware of, but loads of people were pretty aware of her, who hasn't been known to back down from a fight, so again, even Deadline note this, and in fact, the complaint placed in the LASC docket by Allred last fall seemed to be looking for just such a fight. Alec Baldwin should have assumed that the gun in question was loaded unless and until it was demonstrated to him or checked by him that it was not loaded. I actually think that that's you've almost got someone there on industry standards of actually handling a firearm, and also what he would have been trained in, and likely some documentation that he would have signed for insurance purposes. I'm fairly certain they might have him on that. I could be wrong, but it's just a guess. I mean, that's pretty industry standard on holding a gun. You assume it's loaded. You don't just run around blasting it off. The filing proclaimed in language echoed at a press conference Mitchell and Allred held soon after filing the suit. He had no right to rely upon some alleged statement by the assistant director that it was a cold gun. The wide-ranging damages-seeking complaint goes on to say, referring to assistant director David Halls. So Mr. Baldwin cannot hide behind the assistant director to attempt to excuse the fact that he did not check the gun himself. And this is from Mitchell, who was actually in the church location on the Bonanza Creek Ranch when Baldwin's quick draw move during rehearsal killed Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. Having since admitted he didn't examine the weapon properly before giving it to the actor, Halls, along with Rust armourer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, who's also admitted she didn't check the gun too much, that's a direct quote, has been the centre of the sheriff's investigation, as her lawyers have floated the idea of sabotage on the production that had safety and labour issues. Gutierrez-Reed launched her own legal action against Seth Kenney and PDQ Arm and Prop company as well. Even with some push and pull with the media, chatty Baldwin over his cell phone, the police and the de facto Santa Fe DA haven't arrested or charged anyone yet. So, throwing a bit of a Hail Mary against Mitchell's complaint on claims of assault, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and facing other lawsuits too, the Rust producers are still pursuing the internal investigation they proclaimed on October 22nd. That's been going on for a long time. Like a really long time. But this individual says that review may be close to completion. And that's from Deadline's Dominic Patton. Interesting stuff. Like, again, this is not a huge surprise. It's just, oh, well, they didn't intend it, therefore you shouldn't be charging him. It's like, negligence, mate. Come on. Behave. And as well, like, makes perfect sense not to assume, literally industry standards, isn't it? Not to assume that a gun's going to be, completely cold. You have to check it yourself. It's the chain of custody and things like that. But there's so many people who are at fault here, FYI. This isn't me just saying it's Baldwin, as much as I think he's an idiot, but it's not just Baldwin. There's so many people at fault here. But let me know what you guys think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.